Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So sit back and relax because today it is time for coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations with the Biz Chicks. Ha! So I have my hydration ready and I'm ready for the conversation. What are we talking about today, Fran?
Managing expectations.
Mm.
Because, we are business owners and we may have virtual assistants that we are using or have hired. We may have uh, coworkers that we are working with, partners, and maybe you're a coach. Maybe
Mm.
you are a client of a coach, and we need to manage expectations. So, um,
Oh, you know what came to my mind when you said managing expectations in relationships too.
right, because managing expectations is a communication situation. It's a process that involves making sure everybody understands what is expected and when.
Mm, okay.
Because we need to do that for our clients. When do you need to turn in that document so we can get that loan closed? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Communication is really key for this. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, I know my mentor says all the time you need to communicate and clarify, and then you need to communicate and clarify. And it just sounded so redundant. And then after you have communicated and clarified, you need to communicate and
Communicate
clarify.
and clarify. Because
And go ahead.
no, you are right. Remember the question that we were talking with Cheryl about? She brought to mind. So, what did you hear me say?
Hmm. And what I heard you saying was, you know what I mean?
Right, and you're clarifying. What did you hear me say? Because we all listen with filters.
Hmm.
We listen with filters. We listen with baggage. We listen with whatever has been happening. And so there might be a trigger word in there, and you're like, I will not have that happen to me again. When the person just asks, can you make me a piece of toast?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So there could be things that happened in the back that cause trauma. And so when someone says something like that or in a particular tone, then you're out of sorts because it's communication skills. It's basically managing expectation is a communication skill. We need to communicate properly. What did you hear me say? What did you understand me to say?
Now, that's the other thing. What 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 did it what I said to you means what to you? What does it mean to you when I say, "Would you please wash the car?" Does it mean go over there and wash the side you can see, or does it mean to you you're going to wash the whole car? Does it mean you're going to only wash the outside versus the inside? Do I want both done? Am I being explicit with my um,
Expectation.
expectations? Am I communicating them in a
Didn't
way that you will understand fully
what I
what
mean.
I expect?
Right. And managing expectations means you're going to have to communicate expectations early.
Hmm.
Don't wait till they halfway into the job. Oh, that's not what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to do this. What did you tell me about a rock? That ain't the rock. No, I
Hmm.
don't want the rock to be that way. I want it to be
Yeah.
over.
Bring me, bring me a rock, and I bring a rock, and you're like, no, that's not the rock. And so I bring another rock and then, no, that's not quite it. Can you give me some more information about what this rock looks like? How
Mm-hmm.
large should it be? Do
What
you have
color?
a texture or a color in mind, so that I can narrow down what I keep bringing?
Right. And because you don't want to waste the person's time that you are working with, nor do you want to waste your time or valuable time in getting a project completed because we didn't manage the expectations in the beginning. So, what's for dinner?
Hmm.
Oh, food. Okay, we need to narrow down food. What kind of food? And is it going to be fast food, slow food? Is it going to be takeout? Are we cooking it at home? There's a lot of questions and things. Uh,
Are there going to be any vegetables involved?
right.
If so, which ones? Is there going to be any protein involved? How's
If
that protein
so,
going to come?
if so, which kind?
Hmm.
There's there, and people take it for granted that, oh, we're going to eat dinner, and somebody might be thinking spaghetti, the other person is thinking Chinese, and okay, wait, that's not what I wanted. But did we manage our expectations? And when somebody says, what is it that you want? Well, I don't know, you pick. That is not going to work out well, because you're probably not going to get something you wanted to eat because you couldn't clarify or identify what it was that you wanted.
Hmm.
So, managing expectation is important because it ensures that all parties have the same expectation and that those expectations are realistic and intentional.
Hmm.
These realistic expectations are useful for making good choices.
Oh my gosh. How about this? When one party consistently has unrealistic expectations and the other party is constantly trying to fulfill them, something is eventually somebody's going to get frustrated.
Well, the other person who's trying to fulfill them have not made it clear that they need to set some and manage some
Wow.
expectations as well,
Hmm.
not just capitulate to the other person. Excuse me. Not just capitulate to the other person. They need to actually set some expectations. I shall not be talked to in that manner,
Exactly.
or I have something to contribute to the conversation, or I have, this is what I think we should do, and be heard. Everyone should be heard.
Hmm.
So here are some tips for managing expectations. Ask clarifying questions. What did you hear me say?
Hmm.
What did you understand me to say? Because at that point, oh no, that's not what I meant. You know what I mean? We can now pinpoint that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say I'd like to have pumpernickel on my sandwich and not whole wheat.
Hmm.
Whatever it was, what did you bring me a sandwich with whatever on it? Ham, turkey, cheese, whatever on bread. Well, somebody needs to identify what type of bread. There's two sides of that communication: the person getting the instructions, the person giving the instructions. All of that needs to be managed well. And it's not, what is the word called, like what Johnny Carson used to do, where
Oh,
you
mental telepathy. Uh,
it's like I hear the question coming. It's like somebody needs to be clear.
because the rest of us are not clairvoyant. Oh my goodness.
Mark has a comment here. He says, a recurring problem with many, no responsibility for being clear about what they want, because it is more fun to complain about what they didn't get when they
Oh my
didn't
God.
ask after the fact. That is so true, Mark. You know, you
Complain
complain
and criticize.
because you didn't get what you want, but you didn't ask for what you. I don't want ice cream. Well, everybody else is getting ice cream, and you could have said, I don't want ice cream, I want a milkshake, but you didn't say anything. It's just really interesting. I'm like, come
I,
on,
I
people.
I think it starts as children too, because many times we're told you cannot have that. This is what we're having, and you have no right to have another opinion about what we're having. And so you begin to get squeamish about asking for what you really want
Because
as,
it gets
as
shot
you move
down.
into adulthood. Yes,
And
because you're trained to lower your expectations and to go along to get along.
and then there's some households where their opinions and input is welcome. Okay, Billy, what shall we have for dinner today? Sally, what is it that you want to have for dinner today? And the family gathers together and determines what, okay, now Sally, today we're going to go with Billy's choice, but next week we're going to do Sally's choice. That's a different dynamic than you're going to eat whatever I put in front of you.
Exactly. And
And
be
that eating,
grateful that little kids over in Africa are not going to starve because you ate your dinner.
right. The and here's the thing, when the person who got, you're going to eat whatever's put in front of you, there's a whole backstory why that came down. Because they're trying to manage the kids' expectation. There's not a lot of food to choose from. We don't have a lot. This is all we have in the cabinet right now, and we're making it on this. And so, therefore, you're going to have to eat what's in front of you. And but they never explained to the child, okay, we will do that at a later date. Do you understand what I mean? It was just,
There's no conversation, there's no discussion, there's no explanation.
it's just shoot from the hip. You're going to eat that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was watching something where the dad, they were remembering dad, and and all they could remember was how dad was really gruff and rough. Well, dad was trying to feed six kids, trying to go to work and what have you, and he was always, oh, I got to do this, and the guy knocked some paint on dad's car, and dad was like, what are you doing? Because he knocked paint cans on the car. And the little boy grew up thinking dad did not love him or did not like him, when in fact he loved him and liked him very much. And in the middle of a storm, he got left outside, and he got left in the house. Like in the Midwest, there's a tornado, right? And you
Mm.
go into the basement. The whole family's in the basement because the one little boy would sleep on the couch.
Mm. Hmm.
And they didn't miss that he didn't come to the basement. And then they're looking around taking head counts, and he ain't here. So when the little boy, okay, well, I'm here at the house by myself. Let me just make some ice cream. I'm having some cereal. Took his sister's candy stash. He was having a party. And then dad came to come find him. And he thought, because dad was dressed in a rain slicker and there's shadows and stuff. So your mind and imagination goes places where it shouldn't go. Like, oh no, it's an axe murderer trying to get into the house. And it was dad coming back to find him.
Yes.
And he was in the kitchen eating his bowl of ice cream with Cocoa Puffs and some other stuff. And dad found him and he said, hey, we were looking for you. And then so he started eating the food with the little boy, and they had their little dad moment in the midst of the storm. He said, we got to go back because, your mom's going to be looking for us. And he said, can we have just a little few more minutes? And dad said, yeah, sure. So he understood at that point that dad really did love him and cared for him, but he didn't show it all the time.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking parents need to manage expectations too, and, communicate and clarify with the children. Okay, we may not be able to do that right now. At some point we will, but today is not that day. Let's see what we can make with what we have, right? And it's not just you're gonna eat whatever's in front of you. I know that was a long rambling tale.
No, no, I get it. I think it was a good, and it was engaging. I was following the story.
Yes. So
Mark has a comment.
he says, it's like I always say, when you're at the drive through, you have a better chance of getting the single with cheese and tomato and ketchup if you ask for it rather than hoping they guess correctly. Hey, they didn't make my burger right, sir. Because I think I was getting an impossible whopper or something, or impossible something. Um, and we do have to talk about the meat that's grown in the lab. It is now a thing, Terry. Anywho, um, and I'm going through the line and it dawned on me, dang it, I forgot to tell them not to put onions on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you can have it your way, but you need to ask for it your way at the window, or else you'll be after the window picking stuff off
Correct.
because you didn't ask for it the way you wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, I forgot about that. I gotta remember to tell them don't put no onion.
So you have to be specific when you're managing your expectations.
Here's the thing: when you're giving out an assignment,
Mm-hmm.
or you're letting your VA or your coworker or whoever know, when you're giving them instructions, maybe you better know what you are looking for what are the result that you are looking to get at the end of this. That's like with graphic design. A lot of people want to come in, make me a website. And the
Mm-hmm.
graphic designer is like, okay, we need to talk about a couple of things. What Ask clarifying questions. Okay, um, what would you like to see on your site?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want a website with this is you. Okay, do you need an about page? Do you want a landing page with just your contact information? What colors do you like? What kind of photos do you want? What's the look and the feel of the site? And if you don't have all that stuff together, the graphic designer can put something together for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you may not like it. They are not you. I've seen it lots of time. Just make me a website. No, we can't just make you a website. That's
Mm.
why some designers charge what they charge, because they have to deal with your hour,
Wonderfulness.
not knowing what we want. Oh, and I want that too. Oh, and I want that too. And okay,
And you make it spin.
so you ask clarifying uh, questions.
Mm-hmm.
These are tips for managing expectation. You ask clarifying questions. Don't say yes to be liked.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's one. We can unpack that. Don't say yes to be liked in a minute, but here's another one. Don't respond right away.
Thank you.
Just breathe and get the gist of, try to understand what they're saying. Listen, you know what I mean? The question, and then just stop and listen. Let me see. What did I hear them say? What did
Mm.
I understand them to say? Could you repeat that, please? You don't just, okay, yeah, I got it. What
Mm-hmm.
was the kids running? Oh yeah, I got it. I can do it. I know how.
Oh my gosh. Mm.
You didn't. I wanted you to do more than you didn't do what I asked.
Exactly.
I didn't. That's not what I asked for. Well, you said da 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 da. Da. No, that's not what I asked for. Uh,
Mm.
Compromise, meaning, okay, you may not get everything you want, but you don't capitulate and give up everything. But they want to. It's a okay. What things are we gonna agree to do and not to do?
Because let me tell you something. If your goal is always to win at any cost, what you'll find is that you will win, but you'll eventually be playing these games by yourself because people don't like to, for the most part, people don't like to always be in a contentious situation with people. They're going to avoid conversations with you, they're going to avoid interaction with you because your communication is so gruff.
Or one-sided. It's all about me.
And every time they have a conversation with you, they don't get anything. They don't get any of their expectations met, right? Because it's talking about managing their expectations. They don't get any of their expectations met.
Right. Mark has a comment and he says, I had a lucrative contract with a nonprofit. I called the board together to define measurable expectations
Hmm.
and show them how I could walk away day number 2 with full revenue because they failed in their contract.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Taji.
Hey, Dr. Tachi.
Hmm.
Because they walk, because he called the board together to define measurable expectations and show them how he could walk away on day number 2 with the full revenue because they failed in their contract. Wow. He said, I set the expectations in a measurable capacity so that we were both clear, so that I could not be sabotaged after the fact, and so that they were clear about the finish line and how success was defined.
Hmm. And we do that in our workshops.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're going to learn. When you walk away at the end of this workshop, you will know how to A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm. And then we go back and say, so this is what is it? You tell them what
Tell
you.
them what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
tell them, and tell them what you told them. And then you check back for learning.
And then you ask them, so did you?
So you go back to the goals
Mm-hmm.
and expectations for the workshop. You review them and say, did we meet 1, 2, and 3?
Yes. And then, okay, then that means we delivered as promised.
Mm-hmm.
And now we want you to implement what you've learned on a greater, on a scale, what you've learned and continue with it.
And we want you to walk away knowing that we met the expectations
Right.
because they're measurable.
What was the end result? What was the result we wanted at the end? We wanted you to walk away with these 3 keys.
And we tell you up front how we're going to measure them.
And we manage the expectations. I think sometimes expectation management gets difficult when there's so much that people want to happen, when we should be doing the smaller chunks and not just taking the whole big picture,
Mm-hmm.
and just we're gonna go, this is what you're gonna have at the end of this. You'll be able to
Save
earn
the world.
six, 7, 8 figures at the end of this workshop. That's probably not going to happen, because we got to get past your thinking. So in order to do that, you there's progressive steps. And Mark, being a life strategist, you're not going to fix your life in one sit down.
Mm-mm.
We're going to sit down today and fix your whole life. We got to take
In
this.
5 minutes too. That's the other thing. They don't have time to really do it. I don't have time. Can you just fix me? I've got 5 minutes. Really?
Managing expectations. It's going to take you longer than 5. It's going to take longer than 5 minutes. Mark has a comment. He says, the lack of responsibility in this regard is the reason why consultants, I used to be one, make so much money. They can live in the system because success was never clearly defined.
Mm-hmm.
People showed up. Oh, we got to pay them because they showed up, but you didn't get what you wanted because you never defined.
Well, if you don't know where the finish line is, how do you know when you're finished?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dr. Tachi has a comment. She said,
It took forever for Dr. Tachi says it took forever for them to get to the place where they are. 5 minutes can't fix a lifetime. 5 minutes cannot fix a lifetime dysfunction.
of dysfunction.
And that's the whole weight loss thing where people want to, oh, I want the 5 minute fix, and I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose whatever many pounds. It took you a couple of years to put them pounds on.
But listen now, it's my understanding that some of these new pills, these little miracle pills, cost up to $800 and $900 per dose. I'm not, I'm like, what?
And the monetary cost aside, what are the side effects that they don't know about right
Well,
now?
the other thing is, you still got to change what you eat.
And the thing
So
is,
is it still really working, or is
because you still have to change your mind about
and your
that.
behavior?
It you in no program, I'm talking in business and with your relationships, weight loss, whatever, no program is going to work until you change this up here first. Until you change your mind, the rest of that stuff does not work. Doc,
Mark.
excuse me, Mark says, amen, Tachi. People get so impatient sometimes. Trust and believe. We cannot undo 30 years of being in a single session.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But they talk about unrealistic expectations. And that's why it's so important to manage the expectations up front.
Going in, okay, this is okay. We people want to live their dream life, and they want to, and okay, managing expectations. You're not going to do this overnight. This is going to take a session. I will work with people 12 weeks. That's just me, because doing it for a year, that's a long commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can redo the 12 weeks again. You know what I mean? But you want to give people a break. It's kind of like the Pomodoro effect when you are working on a large project and you work on it for 25 minutes, take a 5 minute break, and then go back, right? Not working on the thing all 24/7. You'll get burnt out. We need to make it measurable, and that's why we up front we're going to meet together once a week for 12 weeks, and let's see where we are, and let's do an assessment, and then do we continue on? How are you doing? And this is the managing expectations. So communicate expectations early,
Mm-hmm.
reinforce expectations with reminders. Tell them what you told them.
And while you're telling them, remind them what the objective was. Review what the expectation is to make sure we're still on track. Are we still on track
Right,
regarding this particular expectation?
right. And then it's there, this one, these are managing expectations at work, aligning expectations with abilities or skills.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the farmer holding the scalpel.
Mm-hmm. 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 Now, Mark has a comment here. He says, for most, I have found that the average reconditioning takes 33 sessions unless it is a one and done
In
in
the
the
moment.
moment problem. Well,
And most problems are not one and done. There's a whole bunch of baggage that came with it. 33 sessions, Mark, that yeah. And people have to be on board with committing to going through the 33 sessions.
mm-hmm.
Um, aligning expectations with abilities or skills. Yeah. Hold yourself and others accountable.
There you go.
I'm going to do my part. Holding myself accountable. I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do this, and then checking in. A lot of the follow up when you start getting into whatever it is that you agreed upon doing. Sometimes it can get that's the boring work. The
Mhm.
starting of it is all woo. I got a new client. Da, 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 da. Now you're in the trenches and you got to do the work.
And it can be repetitive.
It can be boring. I want to say it. It can be boring, but I said I was going to do it, and we're
Mhm.
going to do it. And so it's going to be boring because we're not going to be chasing a new shiny thing every time. We're going to get this part done.
Okay. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness.
And
Manage
then,
expectations.
yes, uh, communicate. Yeah, that's it. That is, set professional boundaries. And then they also said explain the rationale. And we talked about that. Explain why, you can't, we may not be able to do this or why we do that. Explain it.
Hmm.
People are grown, they'll understand. And if they don't, well, maybe they're not supposed to be the ones you're working with. But,
And
Mark,
then at the end, you can ask, what were you really looking to achieve?
hmm,
And we can build a session around that because
right.
you can clarify it or it came up during this session. But right now, these are the objectives. And the question is, are we staying on that objective so that we can achieve it?
Mark says, when I did workshops in corporate America, a large part of it was about managing your boss, which is easier for you than it is for them. 100% responsibility for your performance and potential. Yeah, because some bosses, like, they have no clue. That's why the nurses run stuff. They ain't the doctors running stuff. It's the nurses.
Mm-hmm.
The nurses just don't have the doctor's degree. But anywho, that's another conversation. But we're talking about managing expectations today. Communicate and clarify. Um, Communicate, clarify. Tell them what you're gonna tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them, and then tell them what you told them, and then ask the question: what did you hear me say? What did you understand me to say? And then do it again until we are all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our conversation for today on managing expectations. We trust this has helped you a little bit. First Monday is coming up next week, Terry.
Yes, indeedy. And so we hope that you'll all join us for First Monday at Seasons 52
Mm-hmm.
in Arden Fair Mall here in Sacramento if you're local. And also we will be streaming it online. So if you're out of the state, please join us. We'd love to have you join
And
us.
yes, and our guest is going to be a surprise this week or this month. Mm.
We had a great time last month.
Mark
Mark
was
was
awesome.
outstanding.
I do believe the YouTube is still up of that. I need to edit it, but it is over on our YouTube channel, which you can um,
Check it out.
subscribe to. And he and Dean Hankey were very, very, oh my gosh, it was some really good information. And then Dr. Tachi was our first uh, person coming in all the way from another locale into uh, our first Monday event. It was really, really good. So we're looking forward to having you again at our first Monday event coming up on October 2nd, I believe it is.
Yes, please feel free to join us, and we look forward to meeting you.
So with that, you can become a part of the BizChicks community just by texting biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net, click on the button, and join in the community there. Um, we don't like to bug you a whole lot, but we do want to inform you of things that are coming up and ways that we can help you take the hassle out of your hustle, because that is what we are here to do. So remember to always go to the front of your own line, and always, 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 let's build a profitable business that's fun to run, because we're going to help you take the hassle out of your hustle. All right, we will see you tomorrow with Coach TJ. TJO in the house tomorrow, talking digital marketing and social media strategies. And then we'll see you for the rest of the week with Coach Karen on Wednesday. Robin Shamuzu for Happy Healthy Habits. And then Friday, we are talking tech. Yeah, we're going to talk about the meat that's grown in the lab, and it's already in stores.
Mm-hmm. Okay, did you see it on the shelves? Okay.
It's going on the shelves. 2 stores have been approved to.
Great. Okay, I look forward to that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We love you and we'll see you soon. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.